record this time. Okay. Why is this like lagging? Come on. Here we go. Okay. Cool. Making your vision a reality. So this is definitely going to be geared more towards people who are aiming towards making this like, you know, your end game, your lifelong thing. You're aiming to go full time with this and to really spend your time to invest in this and build this to a point where you have a solid income with it, where you have a solid foundation for yourself, and it's not just a hobby to you or something you do on the fun or on the side or when you feel like it, but it's something that you really want to build a strong foundation with and really take it to where you want it to be and really build it to that point where you see for yourself, or build it to that point of freedom for yourself. So this definitely is not really that type of call for someone who wants to do this kind of like when it's convenient or as like kind of just a thing on the side and for a little like side money now and then. It's kind of more towards how can you build this to something that's a legitimate business and a legitimate like career for yourself and a lifelong journey. So I'm going to just jump right into it. So your plan of action. So really being able to break down your goals versus your big overall vision of like what your like dream life is like and what you truly imagine for yourself at the end of this, what you truly want to build for yourself in your life, what you strive for daily, and that bigger vision of like the vacations you want to take, the freedom that you want to have in your schedule, being able to stay home with your family, or like, you know, be a stay-at-home mom with your kids, or if you like, you know, have dreams of paying off all your like credit card debt or your student loan debt and living like financially free in that way without stressors, all those little things that add up to this bigger vision and bigger picture of how you want to live your life and how your day-to-day life is going to look like. That's part of your big vision, versus the milestones are the steps along the way in your business that you need to hit in order to get to that bigger goal for yourself. So when you break it, that big vision down, you need to focus on those smaller milestones so you don't get kind of distracted along the way, and you have legitimate markers for yourself to hit and to focus on that are kind of more like bite-sized chunks that are more swallowable for you, compared to this big overwhelming vision of like, how am I even going to get there? So you need to break that down for yourself to make it more manageable for yourself every day. And really that comes down to your daily activities. So really knowing, what do I have to do daily to reach that big vision for myself? What do I have to do weekly to reach that big vision for myself? And then once those things are done, like what are those other things in my business that I can do like for fun or that like aren't as important? Those can be done once you kind of reach Success Club or you reach those smaller milestones in your business. That's when you can kind of do the things that aren't necessarily as important, like maybe creating fun graphics for yourself or things like that, because those can kind of be like distractors. So making sure that you're really focusing on those things that you need to do daily to see success, and those goals that you have for yourself weekly to reach those milestones of success. There are so many puppies around me right now. Okay, so your long-term vision. This is like, if you think of your coaching journey as like a mountain, this would be the peak of that mountain. It's what you're aiming towards. It's the path that you're on each day is to reach the peak of that mountain and to see that amazing view and to see like that view of what you want your life to be like. But first you have to climb the freaking mountain to get there. So your long-term vision is everything that you really dream of and having in your life. And this is like some of the things that I really sought out to find in my own life. But like some of these are like so far down the line as well, you know, like I have so many milestones I need to hit before I get to a point where, you know, I'm living in like a nice mountain cottage like this, you know, like there's so many steps you need to take before you reach the peak of your mountain, and so many smaller milestones along the way before you get to like that dream life vision for yourself. So at the bottom, you'll see this quote. It says, if you start if you start this thinking, I'll just see if it works out, you have the wrong mindset, because you're already going into this thinking like, like maybe, you know, you have 1 foot in and 1 foot out the door already before you even put in the effort to try to see what you can do and see how you can build this. And I see this so often of like coaches who start this with all the best intentions in the world and all the biggest dreams. And it's like they almost get frozen because it's like a fear of like overwhelm and like not knowing where to start, and going in with this mindset of thinking like, I'll see if this works out for me, rather than I'm going to make this work for me to get to where I want to be. Because when you start with that mindset, you're already thinking like, oh, well, maybe I'm just not good at this right away. Or, you know, I didn't see success with this right away. I didn't hit Success Club yet. Like, I'm not getting a good response from people yet. So maybe this just isn't meant for me. Versus actually putting in the effort daily and seeing this as your true path and the thing that's going to, the vehicle that's going to get you to where you want to be in your life, and taking advantage of that daily and leaning into the growth process so you can, you know, start getting the response that you want from people. You can start hitting the Success Club points that you want to. And all of that comes from truly putting in the effort daily and leaning into the growth process to get there. So really coming into this thinking, I want to be here a year from now, and I'm going to see what I can do in a year of putting in consistent effort daily to get to where I want to be. Okay. So this is a quote that I found. It says, I live by that. You grind hard so you can play hard. At the end of the day, you put all the work in, and eventually it'll pay off. It could be in a year, it could be in 5 years, but eventually your hard work will pay off. So sticking with that mountain analogy, you know, you are climbing that mountain daily. You're taking a step by step daily, and you're not seeing the peak of that mountain every day. You need to take those steps and do the hard work, and, you know, your muscles are going to get sore and you might get kind of tired, and you need to put all of that in before you can see that amazing view for yourself, and all that hard work pays off. So in this business, there's so much background work that you have to put in when sometimes it feels like not much is happening yet, and you're not really gaining the traction that you want to, and you're not seeing the results that you want to yet, because you're so focused on like that dream vision for yourself, right? And that big goal picture of yourself, and you want it so badly that sometimes we get frustrated because it seems like it's not happening for us fast enough. But really, we need to dwindle it down to the basics of what we can do daily to get ourselves there, and it can happen for us so much faster than we realize when we focus on those daily activities and we put in our max amount of effort daily. And I love that he says, like, it could be in a year, it could be in 5 years, but eventually your hard work will pay off. And that is so true. If you are just dabbling in this business and just sort of doing it, and you have that 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out, you aren't going to have your hard work pay off in the way that you want it to. You're going to have like half-assed results, and you're going to be really upset, and it's going to feel like you're constantly grinding your gears and not really gaining the traction that you want to, because you're not putting in the amount of effort that you truly should for where you want to be. So truly in this business, I love it because what you put into this business is consistently what you are going to see out of it. And it's the people who work hard and put in the effort, even on the days that like they're tired and they don't really want to, when they decide to show up anyways and be consistent in that, those are the people that have the greatest results, that quit their jobs the earliest, that truly gain the most traction at the highest like speed in this as well, because they are so aggressively consistent. And that's really truly in this business, the only skill you need is the power to be consistent. So picture your life a year from now. How would you feel if it was the same? And this is something that gut checks me so often, because we can get stuck on like having a bad day, having like, you know, just waking up in a more negative mindset, or feeling tired, not feeling really motivated to get things done. Maybe something like happened to your day that just like threw you off, and you're not really wanting to focus on your business today. Maybe you just want to sit down on your couch and you want to like binge watch Netflix instead, because this isn't the most convenient thing for you. And in those moments, what always like gives me that gut check feeling is, how would you feel a year from now if your life was exactly the same? And when I was teaching, and I was waking up every day with anxiety, and I was going to work literally taking deep breaths before I entered the doors to go into my classroom, and I was coming home exhausted. Like, the last thing I wanted to do was open up my phone and go through messages and talk to more people. I just wanted to shut down and sit on my couch and veg out and go to bed. But that was the awful like cycle I was in. And that's what kept me going, like, day after day, and showing up in the moments that I wanted to, and showing up on in the moments when I was tired and when I didn't really feel like it and when it wasn't the most convenient, was because I was picturing myself a year from then, still teaching, still waking up with anxiety, still having this awful feeling of like being stuck financially, of being like crippled with student loan debt, and being really unhappy with who I was as a person, where I was physically, and the path that I was on in life. And having that awful feeling of just like being stuck constantly and like not knowing how you can have a way off, how you can like find your way out of that, is such an awful, draining feeling. And this was my vehicle out of that. And this was the way that I was able to like have a life with more freedom, have freedom from all that financial stress, and be able to truly live life the way I wanted to. So even though this isn't always going to be convenient, and it's not always going to be the thing that you want to work on each day, this is the thing that's going to allow you to live large a year from now, that it's going to allow you to truly build a life from where you are now. Because right now you're at that bottom of the mountain and it seems like it's a long way up. But if you picture your life a year from now and you're still at the bottom of that freaking mountain, like how frustrated are you going to feel because you didn't put in the action that you could daily to get yourself to where you want to be? And that's what I always thought about, is just like, how would I feel if I was stuck in the same exact place a year from now? Because that thought is literally crippling. It's like you have all the tools and you literally have the vehicle to take you exactly to where you want to be in your life. And it all comes down to whether or not you put in the effort, you take the action, and you show up for yourself every day. So every day you're either taking steps up the mountain or you're staying in the same exact place. What we do daily matters. And I think it's so easy sometimes to think like, oh, I'm tired today, like maybe I'll just like double up on it tomorrow. But then tomorrow comes and you don't freaking double up on it, or you push it off to the next day. And it's so easy to have this like kind of procrastination like mindset, or push it off because in the immediate, like your immediate surroundings, like it doesn't really make that big of a difference. But when you think about like the long haul and your long-term vision, what you do every day matters. And those little steps you take are moving you up that mountain day by day by day. And you're either choosing to stay in that same exact place and to move at a slower pace and to maybe not make much progress, or you're choosing to move up that freaking mountain and closer to your goals every single day. And I think, oh, Jesus. No. Sorry. Hopefully she stops. I forgot where I was going with that. Dog. I think it's so easy sometimes to like push it off because you're just like so consumed in your day-to-day life and like your routine to think that it's not going to be a big deal when you kind of put off those invites one more day, or you don't answer your messages one day. But it's really what you do daily compounds over time. So when you're consistent daily, even if you're doing like, say you're doing 10 invites a day, then that's 70 people you've reached out to by the end of the week. But if you're skipping days, then maybe you only reached out to 40 people. Maybe you only reached out to 30 people. And you're literally shooting yourself in the foot and taking everything that you want away from yourself. And I just think that is like the most depressing thing, because we can be our own worst enemies in this business so much because we put off those things that we know we need to do to move forward, and we don't focus our energy on where it should be. And we tell ourselves that we can put it off till tomorrow and it'll be okay. But truly we need to show up daily if we want to get out of this business what we put into it. So know what drives you. So in those moments when it's more difficult and you're having tough days and oh, these dogs, they're like sniffing my back and it tickles. Those days where it's more difficult, where you don't really have the motivation and things, like what are you going to focus on? What's important to you? What do you truly appreciate about this business the most? That's going to make you want to keep moving. That's going to make you, have a more positive mindset and get you in a place where you can take those steps for yourself, where you can put, cross those things off your to-do list and put in the work to get you to where you want to be. So that's different for everyone. I don't know. For me, it's freedom. For some people, it's the fact that we have such a beautiful community and being able to be connected to like other people with the same like life goals and passions and just like, this empowerment aspect of it. For some, it's like family and being able to do something for your own family, spend more time with them, treat them to something special that you couldn't before, and that attitude of gratitude. For some, it's passion or a purpose and having like a life where you feel fulfilled. For some, it's competition. I know so many coaches on my upline team that came from a background of sports, and they love competition, and that's something that really fueled their coaching journey and helped them succeed because that's what motivates them. So really being able to tap into what specifically motivates you and helps you get moving. And to be honest, in the beginning of my business, I could really articulate like why I wanted this very easily. But in this Diamond Push group that I'm in right now with some of the girls on this team, we took this Enneagram test, and it really breaks down kind of like who you are as a person, what you're motivated by. And I took it, and the results for it, I feel like it literally helped me understand like my motivations throughout my entire life. And it gave me such a new perspective on this business. So if you have not taken that yet, I know a couple of you have, I highly recommend it. And I'll send the link to the test in the group chat so you guys can check it out, because it helped me learn so much about myself, and it helped me truly realize kind of what motivated me, because I'm someone who can sit down and I can do the work and that's fine. But there was like this lack of energy behind it. And I took this test, and it literally told me that like my motivating factor, that like I typically don't do things for myself. And that wasn't even something I really put into like play when I like went into this business. It wasn't something I was thinking of, because they always, you're always told to focus on your why, your reason of doing this. So I was thinking of like my internal motivators and things like that, and things that I wanted in my own life, when really like my biggest motivator for who I am as a person is what I can do for others and what they want to do, and like how I can better situations for them. So going into that and really getting to know yourself and knowing what drives you, so that you have something to focus on those tough days. Because when I'm having tough days, it might not be the best for me to think of like, oh, but I really want to be able to like experience traveling more or whatever. But if I focus on the fact that like my boyfriend works 80 hours a week and he's stressing out, and I can build this to a point where he doesn't need to work multiple jobs and work that much, that's going to motivate me even more to take those steps, so that way he's not so stressed, and I can do that for him, because my motivations come from doing things for other people. So really just getting to know yourselves in that way. And again, I'll send you guys the test so you can take that, because truly it was ridiculously eye-opening. So then breaking it down to taking those daily steps. So how we reach the top of that dang mountain. So again, knowing that what you do daily matters, and breaking it down into mile markers on the way to the summit of that mountain. So, if financial freedom and everything is your goal at the end, and you're like, well, I need to hit 2-star diamond, blah, blah, blah. I need to hit X income goal. It's like, what are your steps along the way that you need to hit? Because you're not going to just go from where you are now to like 5-star elite. You need to hit emerald first. So maybe your focus is like, how can I grow my team? How can I focus on adding one coach first? How can I focus on learning how to invite to the coaching opportunity first? And that's your mile marker. And then it's adding someone to your team. And then maybe it's adding a person to your team each week. And then maybe it's adding 2 people to your team each week. And you're slowly increasing what you're capable of and slowly pushing yourself to do more each week as you learn and grow. And you have those kind of mile markers of little destinations to hit along the way to get you to that bigger goal and that bigger freedom for yourself. So then knowing what business goals are going to help you reach your life goals. So I kind of went over that already. So like knowing that your end goal of like 2-star diamond or 5-star diamond or whatever that is, and being able to break that down to those milestones along the way and taking the freaking initiative to learn, because I can tell you there are so many things in this business that you're going to start out and you're not going to be unsure of. And this is a constant learning process. I am still a year and a half in this business, still going to YouTube and YouTubing things and trying to learn about things more and going through old like national wake up calls and going through old team calls. And this is truly just a business of growth. And there are so many people you can constantly learn from and so many different like strategies for doing things. And it is just like so inspiring to me and so amazing to me that we have this such a supportive community where we all come together and truly like share our best practices and share what's working for us. And that information is all there out there for us to take advantage of. So make sure you do. Make sure you take advantage of all the people who have been doing this for years and have seen massive success and are literally making like millions of dollars doing this because they built such a sustainable business over time through doing those daily activities, that you're taking advantage of all that knowledge that they have to give back to us, because it is a wealth of freaking knowledge and it is amazing. And focusing on incentives, if that's something that like motivates you. I think they aren't like really brought up enough, but one of my biggest things, because I'm so like experience driven as well, and I really wanted to have a life where I had more freedom and more opportunities to travel and experience things, one of my biggest motivators for going diamond was earning a diamond retreat on Mandy's team and having a trip where, you know, it was all expensive paid and I was able to make it to California where I'd never visited before. And that was a huge motivator to me, to have that experience and to be able to kind of like bond with the team and do something so special like that. And like the Success Club trip as well, that's something that can be a huge motivator for you as well. And knowing that you have to put in the work each month and help people each month in order to earn that trip and be able to literally take a free vacation. It is craziness. Like I'm literally going on a cruise next month and all I paid for was my flight to get to Florida. And that was all because of doing my job. So if you are motivated by trips and incentives like that, focus on what you can do each month to get to that point where you can earn things like that and have awesome experiences like that. So truly getting to know yourself and knowing those motivating factors for you. And the things you do daily are the things that are going to build momentum for you and reignite your excitement. So they're going to build your momentum. So those daily invites, those daily conversations you're having, the daily posts on your page and sharing what we're doing as coaches and sharing your own health and fitness journey, that's going to help you build that momentum to get where you want to be. But you need to show up consistently and you need to show up daily, having those invites and having those conversations and posting on your page and being the proof of what we do and setting that example to get to where you want to be and to build that momentum that you want. And they're the things that reignite your excitement. So truly, when you start having like positive conversations with people and you start like hitting those little milestones, those are things that get you more excited about where you're going to be. And it doesn't have to be something big. Sometimes it's just signing up your first freaking customer. Like that was the most exciting thing in the world to me, because I was like, dang, like I can freaking do this. Or the first time like you send an invite and someone has like a positive response to it, or the first time you connect with someone and build like a meaningful relationship because they connect to something that you said on your page. There can be so many small things in this business that reignite your excitement for what we do, and hold on to those things daily because they're what's going to push you through and keep you excited about what we're doing. So maintaining the gratitude daily. So these can be things, talked a little bit about like business ranks, Success Club points, and focusing on kind of like you know, what motivates you there, and being excited about kind of how you're growing in this business, and having that excitement there, or focusing on the improvement in your physical health or your environment. Like for me, leaving teaching and being able to leave that and go into a more positive environment was a huge factor for me. Relationships you're building with people on the team, or improving your own relationships in your personal life because of how you're changing as a person through this business, your mental health and how that's improving. I cannot tell you how much my stress levels and anxiety went down because of this business. There is so much to be grateful for in this business daily. And I think when we get stuck on the things that are like frustrating, or we get stuck on, you know, not getting to where we want to be fast enough, we can forget so much of these little things and how much this business helps us grow in so many different areas. And I truly feel that when we focus on feeling grateful for what we do and feeling really just thankful for this gift we've been given, it makes it so much easier to show up daily to get the things done, and to show up daily to, you know, get through that to-do list and do the things even when it's hard, because you have this attitude of gratitude towards what this business has already given you, and you know that there's so much more to come. Okay, and keep it in eyesight. I think in those tougher moments, it's so easy to kind of forget about that bigger vision and just kind of focus on what is immediately in front of you and what's happening that day, and how you're feeling that day, and whether or not you want to do this. So truly having those long-term visions in front of you, tangibly in front of you, either through a dream board, or maybe you write them down and post them up where you're working. So on those days where you're not feeling it, you can look at that and be reminded of why this is so important to you and why you need to show up, even when it's not the most convenient. Because if this was always easy, everyone would do it. And if everyone did it, like, that would just, there would be like, it would be so much easier to sign people up in this business. Like, it's the people who are willing to put in the hard work and the background work that truly see success in this. And you really need to choose your hard. Is it harder for you to live the life that you're living now and stay where you are now in your life? Or is it harder for you to show up daily and put in the work to get where you want to be? And I just think that's such an important reminder all the time to really choose your hard, because nothing in life is really going to truly be easy. And if it's worth working for, it's truly worth something worth having. And I think having that visible reminder in front of yourself every day of why you're doing this helps you truly focus on what matters in this business, and gives you that fuel to keep going, even when you have those days where you're focusing on that hard. So you can have all the best intentions, but it doesn't matter if you don't take action. And this is just where I'm going to leave it. I think it is so easy to get focused on where you want this business to go, but you truly need to put in the steps to get there. And that means showing up daily. That means doing those daily steps to move yourself forward. And it's allowing those steps to truly add up each day to get you to the top of that mountain, where you can see that view and you can have those goals there tangibly in front of you and actually like feel and experience them. But just wanting something isn't going to get you there. You need to actually take the action and the steps and put that behind that wanting to get you to where you want to go. And that is all I have. I don't know if you guys have any like tangible questions about what I do. Oh, there's some things in the chat. I'm gonna okay, I'm gonna stop sharing.